Hey guys, so I'm driving in Wyoming. Pretty easy to say there. Something, gosh, part of something that's even more hard, I think that's harder than even my surgeries, my life struggles from when I was a baby. And the fact that I have a liver disease, I've had like 6 blood clots to my liver, 1 to my spleen, and I've had at least like 7 episodes of internal bleeding, most of which have happened the last couple years. And what's very interesting, and I mean, this is what's really important, and this is also part of my trouble with YouTube as well as life in general, is that those things are hard. They're very hard. It's hard feeling super sick and scared, wondering if you're gonna die, if you're gonna live, if you'll ever work again, if you could ever go back to school because you're gonna be so sick you can't do it. Just getting sick with colds and flu and stuff over and over again. And I mean, that enough is hard. And the numerous doctor appointments, I can average 4 doctor appointments in a week. Like that's if I'm not doing good. Even hospitalizations, ER visits are usually even, I'd say sometimes 3 to 4 times a year. It just depends, as well as the huge amounts of money it takes to do these things, and not even to mention once or twice having to go to the Mayo Clinic. I mean, it can be upwards to $1,000 just for me to fly there. It's about $1,000 for me to get a hotel room there for the week, and then lots of co-pays, lots of medications, and you can imagine all that stuff is rough. But I'll tell you, out of all that stuff, out of all those struggles and all the pain, I mean, I have been in so much pain that my body has literally gone to where I just keep throwing up. But after there's nothing even left in your stomach to throw up, you dry heave, and losing total control of your body, being in such high amounts of pain to where you're passing out, and just crazy things that I've been through. And I'm not saying like my struggles are worse than everyone else's, and that's definitely not true. Actually, what I've come to realize more than not is that we all suffer, and my goal isn't to say mine is worse than yours. The fact is, we should be more together. We know pain, we know hurt, and losing loved ones or watching somebody else suffer. I mean, it's all hard, and things that we thought we were going to do in life, that something happened and it changed it. So what I've learned is actually I'm more relatable to people because we all know pain to some level. And I kind of thought about it, and I was like, how did I learn to be happy through this? And what is the worst part of all this? And I can tell you, it's the people. Oh my gosh. You mention anything wrong with you or whatever, you're going to get a million people's opinions. And you're struggling with your own opinion, and you're struggling with your own self-doubt. You're struggling with your own opinions. Like even this guy that mentioned, oh my God, it's just so stupid. It's like he really tried to give me this comment, but ending it with, and by the way, you look fatter now. And it's like, because that's what I need to hear from you right now. That's helpful. How would you like it if somebody did that to you? And people just don't think that. I have learned that there are so many people out there. And what I've learned is those people are hurting. And a lot of times it's because they don't want to face truths in their own life. And it's because if they looked at your situation, or like where for me, boxed up, not put up on a shelf, is this idea of death or God or aliens or, whatever. There's things that we kind of put in our subconscious, like, okay, these things freak me out, but I'm just going to pretend they're not there. We're just going to put them in a box and leave it alone. And for me, I have to take that box out all the time. I have to look death in the face, in the mirror, and know that it's very possible. And it's very real for all of us. But it's a scary thought. And some people really can't handle it. And so they need to put you down or say things that you're doing wrong, because if you're doing something wrong, then it makes them feel better about their life, that they can go on living in their denial or whatever it is. They don't have to face what you're going through because it might challenge the way that they're living. And that's when I really just learned to, instead of being angry at everyone else, to really feel sorry for them, to know when someone lashes out at me. And not that I'm going to tolerate it. I do not accept bullying. I do not accept that stuff into my life. And I will not be around people who do that to me anymore. Because how are you going to help someone? Even if I did need something like that to offer, if they said it that way, if you're being mean to me and saying, oh, actually you suck at life and you're not going to be good unless you do what I do, I probably don't want to take your advice, even if you are correct. I'll go find somebody else if I think that you're correct. Instead of them being nice and saying, hey, I get you're hurting, I get you're struggling, and, I know you probably already know this, and I know you've probably tried everything under the sun, but you know what? I heard, or I've seen this, or I've experimented with this, and I think that it could be good for you. If you're interested, you want to know, I'd like to just see what you think about it. You don't have to do it. You don't have to try it. But, just consider it for an option yourself. I just thought I'd share that with you. And that is what gets people interested in what you're doing. And part of this, where I've seen a lot of people who go through health stuff like me, is they get very down on the world and they get very mad at other people. They look at people who have normal lives and they're angry. They feel like they've lost something, that something's been taken from them. And I'm going to tell you something, if you're feeling that way, or you're just mad in general, how many of you actually want to be normal anyways? You went through high school, or you saw a lot of that stuff, or what it takes to fit in. And believe me, I do not want a normal life. And if anything, I feel more gifted that I love my family a little bit more. I've learned how to be a supportive friend just a bit more. I've learned to drop crappy stuff out of my life way faster, because I realized that life is so short. It is so much harder to be angry and to be upset with the world than it is to find the love and the joy and the peace. And that's not that I always felt this way. I was very angry and very bitter. And I grew up, in not a very good home as a child. I grew up in an abusive family, and, struggles where I had also, on top of this, dyslexia. I was called fat. I was, tired. I couldn't fit in school. I didn't feel good. I was made fun of. I was not one of the cool kids. I had to drop out of college. I mean, life is endless for the things I can tell you I could not do. But what I can tell you is I've learned to be a very, very happy person through this whole life. And I learned to separate my health and separate things so that I could have a good life. And the reason I've learned this is I am happy. I enjoy spending time with my dogs and walking, and because they're always happy and loving. I mean, they always want me home. And I've learned to try and help others, or recognize people that are hurting and go up to them and say, you know what, coming from a place of pain, I feel you, and it's okay. And you can let your guard down with me, and you can be mad, and you can be upset, and you can cry, and you can laugh, and you can hate, and you don't have to pretend to be anything you don't want to be. And you can be raw with your emotion. I am not going to neglect you. I am not going to send you away. I am not going to tell you that you're not special, because that's not true. And I just learned, when I don't feel good, I go purposely out on my days I don't feel good. And I will go to the mall, and I will go to the grocery store, just living my daily life, and I will find people out there who either look like they're having a rough day, or that girl who looks like she probably gets picked on a lot, that she's trying really hard, that maybe she's 200 pounds overweight, but she's taking the time to do her hair and her makeup and dress up nice and feel good about herself. And you know what? And I go to that girl, and I don't pick the prettiest, hottest girl out there who's skinny and looks beautiful. I pick the girl who probably doesn't get all that love and appreciation all the time and who's been rejected. And I say, oh my gosh. And I look for that thing that I really do like about her. And I'm like, your makeup is so good looking. Or you look beautiful in that dress. Like, oh my gosh, you look stunning. And you know what? I bet that does more good than if I would go around hating the world. Because that doesn't do anyone any good. And it certainly doesn't do me any good. And sometimes there's this lady, like, I'm struggling financially, guys. Do you know that I usually end up owing about 10 grand a year alone on hitting my deductible? That's not the medications I have to pay out of pocket. That's not life in general. That's not including the job that I can't work because I'm out and in the hospital and not making money. I mean, I'm tight. My budget, it's not always awesome. But you know what I do? Sometimes I've got that $20 bill in my pocket or a $5 bill, and I'm out at a coffee shop and I'm just kind of chatting, making chit chat with a lady. And, you know, instead of them asking about me, I really like to ask them about them. Like, how are you doing? Is this what you do for a job? Do you go to school? And a lot of times, like, yeah, you know, actually I was a nurse for 3 years or something. And, you know, I really decided that I want to go back to school and being a doctor, but I couldn't maintain the hours I am. So, you know, I'm here. And you can tell, like, being a barista was not their dream job. They're doing what they got to do to make ends meet, and while they're going to school. And you know, sometimes that extra $5 where it would have gone to my extra coffee, or I would have bought gum or whatever else. Sometimes I'll take that $5, and if it's 20 and I can do that, then I will. But you know, a lot of times I take that 20 and I say, you know what? You go do something for yourself. You're working hard, and I can see that. And I appreciate that. And, you know, we need more hardworking people like you. You know, and I know this doesn't go a long way, but I hope that you can use this for something good in your life. And you know what that does? That generates more love. That generates more understanding. Or sometimes I've been walking around and I can just tell this girl looks like she's just gonna, like, just start suddenly crying if you ask her the wrong thing. We've all seen that before. But instead of walking away, I'm thinking, well, don't bug that girl. You know, I'll usually go up to them. And sometimes, you know, maybe they're an alcoholic or, you know, making some bad choices for their life. We've all been there in different ways, but we've all chose bad habits before. I am not exempt from that. And, you know, sometimes I'll talk to them like, you know, you just really look like you need a friend, or, you know, are you doing okay? And then they're like, oh, I'm fine. I'm like, well, you know, you don't look fine. And, you know, like, you know, and then sometimes it's just me reaching out first and saying, you know what? Sometimes I have some really tough times too. You know, I have a disease, and it makes life really hard for me sometimes. And, you know, sometimes all I wish is somebody just sat down for a minute and listened to me. And you know what? It's like, boom, like every little DM that they held up, because they're used to people judging them. And when that wall comes down and you see all this pain and this hurt, you know, maybe they're like, yeah, I'm an alcoholic, or, you know, my boyfriend, I've been seeing him for 7 years and he just dumped me, or, you know, my mom is really sick and she's in the hospital and I don't know what to do. And I know that this person is not going to become my new best friend. I probably won't even see them again. But I've taken the time out of my own life and out of my own hurt and my own pain to sit down with this person and say, you know, why don't you tell me about it? And I might have 5 minutes and I might have 10. And sometimes I can make a world of difference to these people. And sometimes I really don't know if I made a difference at all. But sometimes I like to just sit there and I hear them out. And I say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you're going through this. That sounds horrible. And I understand. And life is hard. But I know because of you and I and hurting that there are good people out there. And there is hope. And it's going to be hard. And I know I can't take that pain away from you. I know I can't do that. But you're going to be okay. And sometimes that's all that person needed to hear. And maybe that day there was nobody else in their life or nobody giving them any positive feedback. Nothing that's making them feel good in the world. And to make that person's day, what really happened is I made mine. And when I had those thoughts of anger, and I was mad, and I was upset, and sometimes angry at God, why am I still going through this? Am I not a strong enough Christian? Are you not going to save me? Am I not worth a miracle? Do I have to struggle this hard? But then God said, you know what? Sometimes I leave you here because you do more good on this earth than 20 other people could do. And sometimes I feel like He shows me so many blessings. And without this disease, I wouldn't get to recognize all the good stuff. Because without the bad stuff, you don't see it. You just accept it. But when I see my family, I hug them a little tighter. I have more patience. I have more kindness for the world. I have a lot more love to give now than I ever would have before. And when I waste my time or I get mad or I get angry, I realize I'm just wasting my life. And I'm wasting the light that's within me and the purpose that I have on this earth. And we all have an ability to give nice things to people, that we all have strengths. Maybe you're good with finances. Maybe you're good at singing. Maybe you're good at drawing. And maybe sometimes you don't feel like you're good at anything at all. And I felt that way before. Sometimes I feel like I don't have anything to offer the world. But what I realized God told me to do, He's like, you have a really big heart. You have a really big heart. And it would be a shame for you to waste that in all your anger and in all the bitterness, that you could use this for good and just to make one other person's day better. And to do that, it makes all the difference. And then it makes all of this okay. And I can get through another day, and I can get through another night. I can tell jokes, and I can put a smile on my face, and I know that I'm going to be okay. So I'm just encouraging you, because maybe you're needing to hear this today. Maybe you're having a really rough day, a really tough time at work. People keep hurting your feelings. But remember that those people are hurt. And they're trying to make themselves feel better. And they're doing it the wrong way. And sometimes the most offsetting thing you can do is just to go be nice back. Even if it's just for yourself. And then sometimes you really do need to get out of that environment. I've had that too. I've literally been in a job where people tried to get me fired because of how hard I worked. And that was really fun. Girls can be very mean. I know this. But I hope that helps you.